Hey, good evening and welcome to Daf Yomi Moed Katan Daf Zion number 7. A little busy in the morning, so I couldn't give the share. And now I'm kicked out of my home. It's supposed to be my home. I'm in the Ezra's Nashim now here, which actually is quite fitting because uh, the the bima over here, the Amud, which you can't see, is dedicated to my father-in-law. Passed away about 2.5 years ago, and with all of his set of Masifta. So if you want a set of Masifta to use, you can come here. That is Nashim here, shared by me, by his son-in-law. Um, in fact, I just put out a video on YouTube about the life of my father-in-law, the story of my father-in-law, and it does feature a video of the Amud and the Svarim. So check out that video. You can see it there. All right, it's late here. Let's get started. The Gemara says on the top of Zion and Aleph, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, the first line, Misade ha'ilan kedarko, Misade ha'lavon shalo kedarko. He makes a distinction. He says you're only allowed to trap. Now, we said trap yesterday means not actual traps of mice and insects. It's actually talking about pesticides and insecticides. There's something called pesticides, which kill bigger animals. Insecticides kill insects. It's also herbicides, which kill weeds, but that's not what we're talking about over here. That the Gemara talking about on Daf Gimel. As we're talking about over here, because these things improve the plant directly, they're on the plant. That's why there's an insert possibly of shvius. Also, Rehuda allows you to do it kedarko, an orchard, fruit-bearing trees, but a field of grain shalok kedar. You have to do a shinoi. Tanarabanan ketza kedarko. What's considered to be the normal way of doing it that you're allowed to do on an orchard? Chofer guma v'tola b'masuda. You're allowed to dig a hole, put a trap. Either it means a mouse trap or to put some sort of pesticide in the hole that will kill them. And this also, the pesticide obviously improves the land first, so it's a problem. It should have been a problem on Chol HaMoed, but because it's for Davar HaAvid, and therefore it's a tircha muetes, a small tircha, it's allowed. In case of Shalokadarka, what's considered the abnormal way, a shinoi, no, it's shbud. You take a nail, umake, a cordum, you take a hammer, you hammer the nail into the ground, umarda adoma, you make an earthquake, sort of, for all the insects buried underneath in Daktea, and you crush all the insects underneath. This is Shalokadarko, not because it's a different way. It's not like Hilchah Shabbos, if you do a Shina, you do it in a different way. It's not a malacha. The idea over here is that the benefit to the ground, making it more fertile to grow more things, is Shalokadarko, because when you make an earthquake in the land, it improves it, but it takes a long time for it to improve. It's a gradual improvement, and it's Shalokadarko in terms of the improvement of it growing, which is what we're worried about on Shvius and Chol Moed, about benefiting the land, benefiting from your malacha. Tanya, Rishim Elazar Omer, Kshamru Masada Lavash Lokadarko. When Rita said from a grain field, you have to do it the abnormal way. Lo Amru Ella Masada Lavan Asmucha Ear is only talking about a white field, a grain field next to the city. Al Bistade Lavan Asmucha Sada Elon, but if it's a far out wheat field that's next to an orchard, I feel like Kedarko, you're even allowed, even Rabbi Yehuda would admit, you could do a Kedarko. Shema Yatsu Misada Alavam Yachribu, as long as maybe these pests or these insects are going to go from the Sad Halavan, from the grain field, and go and destroy the orchard. Umakrinas appears of a Moed, you're allowed to fix up a hole in a wall, a breach wall on Chol HaMoed, Ketzad Makrin, even though we'll see what you can do. Ketzad Makrin, how do you repair the wall? Rabbi Yosef Amar Behutzav Adafna, all you got to do is take some branches from a palm tree, those branches that they give out on Sukkot. Here in Eretz Yisrael, they give out these branches, these palm branches. I don't know, it's pretty much free or a minimal fee. You go take them and you cover your sukkah with them. Big palm branches. Not very stable, but not a lot of wind, they'll stay up. You repair the wall with those. Masisa Tana, the Brisa says, Sar Bisror Ve'enol Tach Betit. You use a form of, sheetrock, let's say, sheetrock, or actual rocks, but you don't plaster it. So The rocks are not firmly in there. The reason you can't do these things, Amar Chisel was in a second. Amar Chisel, Lashon Ala Kosa Al Gina. It's only talking about the wall of a Gina. Aval Kosa Al Chatzer, but a wall of your courtyard, Bona Kedarka, you're allowed to build it a normal way because there it's Davar Avid. People are going to break into your courtyard. If they break into your Gina, your garden, you only have some tomatoes and cucumbers over there. No one really cares. It's not really called a Davar Avid. Financial loss is a significant financial loss. And there you're allowed to do a tircha for, even maybe even not a tircha moetis. I guess it's called a tircha, um, maybe an excessive loss. Maybe we'll say that if it's excessive, a davar aved and davar godol, that's like sorach harabim. Sorach harabim is compared to hefset godol. The Gemara does machalik and masach psachim and other places. The hefset meruba chashashu hefset mualoch chashashu. They're more concerned for hefset meruba. Maybe we can say it before, all until we were talking about Davar Avid, like the Mishnah Daf Beis, I was talking about Hefsed Muat, Hefsed Meruba, it says even Bona Kedarka, which seemingly means professional work, which probably would be a Tircha Yisera, but you're allowed to do that because it's Hefsed Meruba. Leim Messiah Kosel, say it's approved for that, of a Brisa. Kosel Gochel Sharab, let's say you have a wall, it's leaning, it's bent over, it's leaning into Sarabim. It's a danger that's going to fall. So Sarabona Kedarko, you're allowed to, on Cholamoid, you're allowed to destroy the wall and build on Cholamoid a new wall. Because you don't want it to fall on people. Hasam, so you see, you're allowed to build a new wall on Cholamoid if it's for your Chatzar. The Gemara says, Hasam, Kedaksani, Taimam Neasakana. The Gemara disproves that. No, it's because of the danger over there. Here we're talking about there's no danger to path to the pedestrians, then it wouldn't be allowed. Tashma. Alternatively, a different way of approaching this price. So we learn from the price. Right? It says you destroy and you rebuild it. Me'asakana. The Davka says because of the danger. If there's no danger to the pedestrians walking next to the wall of your courtyard, you wouldn't be allowed to do it. So you're not allowed to build it regularly. Lane would have it to Rav Chisda. Say it's the disproof of Rav Chisda. I'm like Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda would answer, Hasam sosa rabona. There, when it's a danger, it allows you to destroy the wall and rebuild it. So here, all you're allowed to do is to repair the wall, even if it's tircha. So you're allowed to rebuild it, but you can't do a really professional job and destroy it and rebuild it. So the Gemara says, Hasam Nami, lister of Lo Livni. There also, right, it's because of the sakana. So let him destroy the wall and let him not rebuild it. Destroying a wall, dismantling a wall, takes a lot of work. Right, so I did renovations where I live. We knocked down a wall and we extended it and made it into a bigger bathroom. Knocking down a wall is expensive. Trust me, it cost me a lot of money, like $20,000 to do these renovations. So to make into a bigger bathroom, to knock down a wall. So you see, even why knocking down a wall is a big expense and it's a big malacha. So we shouldn't allow an excessive malacha over here. When it says when I said if we only allow him to destroy, then again the thieves are going to come in and he'll never destroy it, and it'll be a sakana. Amar Rav Ashim, let's see something. Our Mishnah is a proof to Rav Chisda Leksani with Shvius Bona Kedarko. Shvius, you're allowed to build regularly. The Heicha, where we talk about Ilema, the Chatzer, if we're talking about a courtyard, Strichel and Meimar. Of course, the Shvius is no incher of Malacha on Shvius. Of course, El Lav the Gina. We must be talking about a garden. Because the whole idea by Shvius, there's a separate issue. You have to declare all your vegetables and fruits ownerless. So if you made a wall, you fixed a wall around your garden, it might look like you're putting a lock on your field that Daniyim can't come and take fruit. Mashallah, we're not worried about that. Even on Shvius, even in Gina, you're allowed to do it, albeit in an imperfect way. What's the heter on Shvius? Why are you allowed to do this? So I'd probably say, like we said before, that the whole dinim of Shvius never applied to a garden in the first place. Take it at face value, whatever. At this point, I want to bring in our guest for the next Mishnah. This is the doll we have for today. I think it's a rabbit. Some might say it's a bear. It says heart. Sounds like a rabbit. Bears are not female bears, right? They're not female bears. Rabbits, I guess, are female, even though there's male rabbits also. But rabbits, you assume with Phoebe. F, G, H-I-J-K-L-M-N-O-P. So you see, this rabbit even knows the alphabet. If you go to the zoo in Chol Moed, be sure to check out the rabbits. They will teach you the alphabet. And if they're not teaching the alphabet, take one of these, what is it called? Fisher Price. Take one of these with you to the zoo. Throw it into the rabbits. I'm joking. It'll sing the ABC to you, and it'll show you that rabbits are the smartest animal in the world, second smartest, after the dog. Dog is the smartest. Rabbits are the second smartest. That's all a joke. All right, it's a joke. Take it at face value, but having some fun here. All right, the Mishnah says, "Remeir Omer Rowan Es Hanagoyim B'Tchila Haka Alavul Hakmir." Remeir says you can see the Nagoyim. You can see the Nagoyim is talking about Mitzora, Tzaras. You can look at a Kohen who's the only one who's able to judge Tzaras, to deem it whether it's Tzaras or not, declare it Tzaras. He says you're allowed to, a Kohen's allowed to look at it Lahaka Alavul Hakmir, only when it's going to be lenient and not Lahakmir. We'll see that it means that he's allowed to say that your Torah is not Tzaras, it really is Tzaras, he just is silent, it doesn't say anything. The Chamim lo lahakav lahachmir, the Chamim say neither lahak and lahachmir, you're not allowed to look at it at all. We'll see the reason being is because the Chacham hold that the Kohen does not have the right to be shosek. If it's really tummy, he has to declare it tummy. Tanya, Remeir Omer, and we'll see why you can't do it on Chol HaMoed, because that's a simcha on Chol HaMoed. You don't want to declare someone tummy on Chol HaMoed, you'll ruin their simcha v'samachta v'chagecha. Tanya, Remeir Omer, Rowan es anagam lahaka alavu lahakmir. Remeir says you could do it for it to be lenient. Lahakmir, Yossi Omer lahaka v'lahakmir. She'imata nitzkak lo lahaka, nitzkak lo af lahakmir. Because by the same token, if you're going to be able to be makel, you're going to have to be machmir if it really is saras. I'm a Rebbe near and Divrei Meir b'muskar, v'Divrei Yossi b'muchlar. Rebbe decides the halacha. He says by muskar. Originally, if you see a saras, you're confined, and you go into quarantine. Determine whether you have COVID or not. Determine whether you have. I'm joking. Determine whether COVID. You go into quarantine. Also determine whether you have COVID or not. You're exposed to someone with COVID. But if you're exposed to someone saras, there's a question whether you have saras, so you go into quarantine for 7 days. And then you see if the nega got bigger, and then you determine whether you're mukhlat, whether you're confined, you're going to be secluded outside the machana. By muskar, he will see why he concurs with Rabbi Meir, and by a mukhlat, someone who already has been confined, he agrees with Rabbi Yossi that you don't see the saras. Amorava betar kuli amalo pligi lachazulay. Rava says when it comes to someone who's tar, we just want to see if he has saras at all. Everyone agrees you don't look at him because you can only do bad. Because even Rabbi Yossi would agree that if you don't say anything, you're not gonna hurt him. If you're forced to look at it, then the only thing that can happen is you can declare it saras. If you don't look at him, nothing can happen. He's tar already. If he is in quarantine the first time, everyone agrees that you do observe the saras to see whether it's saras, because even if it's spread, he just becomes a muskar for a second week. You don't get any worse, but you can get better because you can become tar. So there's no reason not to look at it. Kipligi, behesker, and zaydam beis behesker sheni. When it comes to after 2 weeks of saras, and now you have to decide whether you're going to make him a mukhlat or marsar of a kohen talya milsa. So Remeir holds that it depends on the Kohen when he sees the saras. Tor, Amarle Tor. If he's Tor, if the saras didn't get any bigger, or didn't get white in the right place, so then the hairs didn't get white, so then he's Tor. Tame, and if he's Tame Shasik, he's quiet. He doesn't make him any worse. He doesn't make him a mukhla. There are certain restrictions that apply to a confined person. For example, he is forced out of the machana. He's forced out of society. So therefore, it's worse to be a mukhla than a muskar. It's worse to have COVID than to be in quarantine for being exposed to someone with COVID. Yitami Shasik Umar Savar Lataro Latamo Rabbi Yossi says Lataro Latamo, just like he has a power to Matayim, so too he has a power to Matamim Ksiv. Therefore, he is Zakok. A Kohen is forced, if he sees saras, he's forced to declare it saras. And if he doesn't see the saras, he can say he's tar. But if he sees the saras, he must say he's tar. He can't be shosek. Amar Rebbe Nir Dir Yosef Mochla Dir Meir b'Muskar. So we call it Rebbe Shita. He sides with the Rebbe Meir by a confinement, a quarantine, but not but with Riosi by a mukhla, someone who's confined. Vatani Ipcha. But the Braisa says Ipcha. The Rebbe concurs with the Rebbe Meir by a mukhla, and it concurs with Rabbi Yossi by a muskar. So the Gemara says tonight it's machlokes tonight. Mali with the Rebbe what really Rebbe held. Marsar Safsa the Alma Adifle, and Marsar Safsa the Ishto Adifale. Now we're going to see over here that once, if he was a mukhlat, if he was confined, he went out of the machna. So then, and he became tahor. So then he has to count 7 clean days. He has to count 7 clean days. Where he doesn't have saras anymore, and then he has to go to the mikvah, and he has to have shtesi porim, 2 birds, one flies away, one you sacrifice, you put the blood on his thumbs. It's an intense procedure. But the important thing is, those 7 days, he's usher to be with his wife. But he's allowed back in the Machane Yisrael. He's allowed back in society. He doesn't have to remain outside society. So, what is better? So, if Marsar Safsa the Alma Adifle, Marsar Safsa the Ishto Adifle, the one opinion, the first opinion, Rebbe sided with Rebbe Meir is always the Mekel. Rebbe Meir says the opinion that Rebbe sided with Rebbe Meir when it comes to a muskar, when it comes to someone who's in quarantine. He said there is better because Savso society. It's better for him to be able to go back into society, because if he sees him, he can put him back in society, even though it'll be usher to his wife. And the other opinion says that a mukhlat is better because, and the other says that a mukhlat is better. Rameir says that a mukhlat you do see. I'm sorry, the opposite. Rameir said the Rebbe says Rameir. He sides with Rameir by a muskar. That's if you think that it's better to be with your wife, because if they see it and they make him tamei and they make him a mukhlat, so he'll still be mutter to his wife. He'll be confined, but even though he's outside the machane, he's still mutter to his wife. We're going to see that Rebbe holds you're still mutter to your wife, even though you're outside the machane. And the one holds that Rebbe sides with him by a mukhlat, that Rebbe sides with Rebbe by a mukhlat. That's when it comes to he holds that this position of Rebbe would assume that coming back into the machana is more important to come back to society, even though now he's a mukhlat. He was a mukhlat. He can't get any worse than a mukhlat. He was confined outside society. He was mutter to his wife. But bringing back into society, even now he's going to be mutter in society, but he's going to be usher to his wife. So that version of Rebbe held it was better to be back in society than with your wife. So the Gemara says, this is all assuming that according to Rebbe, a mukhlat, someone who's confined outside the machana, is allowed to be with his wife. He's allowed to cohabit with his wife. In Vatanya, is this really true? Yeah. The Gemara says Vatanya, you have a brayso like this. This is talking about a mukhlat, someone who has saras, who becomes decided now that he's tar. So the Torah says he has to set outside his tent 7 days. It shows that he's asar in Tashon Amita. Ein olo al ishto, who olo is a reference, a nice way of saying his wife. Shenem aleichem or lehem shuva lechem aleichem by Matan Torah. It said after Matan Torah was over, you can go back to your tents. It's a euphemism or a clean way of saying go back to cohabitating with your wife. But Tanakama holds that this pasuk is not just talking about someone who comes back into society after his mukhlat status is over. It's talking about every type of saras. You may see puro. We have a pasuk that says he counts 7 days. You may see puro, velo you may chiluto. Because of this pasuk, it specifies the 7 days when he counts. That's only after he comes back into society. So only those 7 days were the pasuk before. But Yashem doesn't apply to the whole time his saras. Only after the saras is over and he's counting 7 clean days, then the Isser to be with his wife. But when he's in quarantine or confined, he's mutter to his wife. Rabbi Yosef Yehuda Omer Zayin Mesi Puro Kavachomer Limechi. He defends the position of the Tanakama. He says if during Sipuro where he's clean, he's forbidden to his wife. Certainly, he's forbidden when he's outside the machna. Danti Livnei Rebbe. I said in front of Rebbe Limatana Rabbeinu Yosam Lo Hayolo Uzio Eli Mechiluto that it must be that a wife is permitted to her husband, even though the husband is tsaras, even though he's a mukhlat. Because Yosam, the son of Uzziah, was born when Uzziah was in tsaras. He was conceived. Amalo Afani Kachamart. Rabbi agreed to Rabbi Chia said, yes, I said it's true. Mechiluto is mutter to his wife. The Michael Mifli, what's the machlokis in the Tanakama? Tanakama and Yosef Yehuda are really the same shita. Yosef Yehuda Savar Gali Rachmana B'Mei Sipuro. Because the Torah revealed the halacha when he's counting, and certainly the more chomer status when he's kicked out of the society. Certainly he's ushered to his wife. Mar Sarah, my the Gali Gali, my Sarah the low Gali Gali, and Rebbe and Rabbi Yehuda hold the Torah told you specifically Yimei Sipuro. And when we don't know anything about Yimei Chiluto. So Torah didn't tell us, so we have to assume he's Puteris. In the name of the Kohen Talia Milsa. So the Gemara says it's apparent from our Gemara that it depends on the Kohen, that a Kohen doesn't have to see it's Aras, right? That's the whole, right? If he sees it's Aras, right, Meir says it can be shosek, he can be silent and not declare it's Aras, and Rabbi Yosef says he has to declare it's Aras if it is Aras. But everyone agrees that Kohen in the first instance does not have to, like we said before, that everyone agrees is made Taro. You don't see the saras. The Kohen doesn't see the saras. He doesn't have, even though you know for sure he's symptomatic of the saras, you don't have, everyone knows he has saras. The Kohen doesn't have to judge it and doesn't have to declare him a mitzorah for if there's a good reason not to. Where do we know that from? It's true, Vatanya, V'yom heros bo, the day that he sees it. So it's a weird lush, the day that he sees it. Yesh yom she'ata roa. So we learn from this, there are certain days that you see it. Yesh yom she'ata roa. But on certain days you don't see the saras. Mikan amru chasan shenola bonega noslo zayin mei hamishta. Even the chasan got married during the Sheva brachos. It's apparent that you see saras on his skin. We don't need the Kohen doesn't look. It doesn't become saras until the Kohen declares the saras. So we don't need the Kohen doesn't look at it. The base of the chsuso, even if there's saras in his house or on his clothes, v'chein beregel, and also the 7 days of Sukkot or Pesach, or I guess the 1 day of Shulas. Noslo shivus mei regel. You give him 7 days. You don't look at it. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Omer, Eno Sarich. Rabbi says you don't need to learn it out from that. Eno Hareyu Omer V'Siva Kohen upon was a bias. Before they declare a house has saras, a house could get saras. If the walls of the house have signs of leprosy, saras, whatever saras is. Maybe saras is COVID. I'm joking. The joke. Rabbi Omer Eno Sarich. Omer V'Siva Kohen upon was a bias. Rabbi says you don't need this. Remember, it's a joke. I don't in any way mean to say that COVID is saras. Saras is whatever it is. We don't really know. COVID is what we have now. The Kohen declares and he removes all the furniture from the house. If just for monetary loss that we want to clear out all this furniture, so the furniture doesn't get everything in the house. If the house is declared saras, you destroy the house and everything in it. So you lose the house and all the furniture. So we take the furniture and then you declare Thomas, you only lose the walls of the house, not all the furniture inside of it. So for just a monetary loss, for a mitzvah of samachta, a regel, or simchas chasan vekala, zayin mishta is also a mitzvah. Certainly for a mitzvah, we decide not to look at saras. My benai. What's the practical difference between Rabbi and Yehuda? Really say the same thing. Amar Abaye, mashmo darshanik. When I said that there's no practical difference between them, it's just how you darshan the psukim. Which psukim are more appealing to darshan from. Rava Amar Davar Shosik Benayu. Rava says that there really is a nafkamina between them. That according to the pasuk says that for a monetary loss, if you're a furniture in your house, you would wait not to look at the saras. What about a financial loss of your clothing or a discretionary reason that the person shouldn't be declared saras? But there's no monetary loss, there's no rishus, but there is a discretionary reason why you would want to wait, because it's going to interfere with his business or whatever, or there's a good reason not to. It's not a mitzvah. So according to Rava, that would be the nafkamina, that Rabbi would hold, even for Dvar Rishus, any discretionary midah, you wouldn't look at the tzaras. Kohen wouldn't look at the tzaras. And according to the Tanakama, only obviously the house, you take out the furniture, that's Gzeras HaKosav, but when it comes to any other discretionary purpose, you wouldn't wait to see the tzaras. Tomorrow we'll discuss this machlokas further. Have a good night. Be well. See you tomorrow. Bye.